Wow, welcome everyone. This is super exciting for me this week because we have an amazing panel. Oh, these are some of the top agents in Oakland, in Berkeley, even all the way up to Richmond. These gals kill it in this business. They're consistently the number one agent in each of their areas. So I'm very thrilled to have them. I'm going to start introducing them. I'm going to start with Anna Bellomo. Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, good.
You're good.
It could change the next time I say it too. So Anna is owner of District Homes, and she has on her group, her team, 6 agents, and you're located out of Berkeley, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, and she consistently does 30 plus million. But one of the things I love about Anna, and you all probably know her anyways, but she grew up in Barcelona. My favorite thing though, she told me when she was 21 years old, she hitchhiked from Barcelona to Amsterdam. Unbelievable. It took her 24 hours. You got to remember, this is in the 90s. There were no cell phones. So she was out on her own hitchhiking. I think I would have gone gray just thinking about my kid out there doing that. That's amazing. So I love that about you. Welcome, Anna.
Thank you.
Claudia. I've known Claudia for a while now. This is, I think, the second time I've had her on a panel. She's great on a panel. One of the fun things, and Claudia is well over in the 40 million plus production. And the thing I love about her is, she grew up, her family made custom police and fire badges. I never even thought of that as being
somebody has to do it. So.
But she spent her youth and driving horses. So she drove antique carriages with 4 horses pulling it. She managed those 4 horses. So she grew up showing carriage horses at local shows and the California State Fair. I went to the California State Fair every year. I might have seen you there.
Yeah.
So welcome you, Claudia. And then finally, we have Sara Zhao, or very, very affectionately known as the Ponytail Agent. Moniker is Ask Ponytail. So if you're up in Richmond, you'll say to people, do you know who Sara Zhao is? And they'll be like, and I say, Ask Ponytail. Oh yeah, I know who she is. And Sarah's same. She's in the 40 million range. She's the number 1 agent in Richmond by 2-fold. She doubles the next agent's production by herself. And she's been in the business a long time. The thing I love about her, she's very involved in our community. She was very involved in finding the Yuming Mandarin English School, also our Oakland Community Center. And she's an avid tennis player. And we love having her at Keller Williams. So, all right, guys, we're going to get started right away. What I'll tell you all that are visiting us, our guests, if you have a question, please put it in the chat. We would love to answer any questions. I have some questions. I'll be presenting them. Fortunately, because this is a Friday before a holiday weekend, we've got a little bit smaller crowd, which I kind of like. I really do. I'm a little more intimate. So I'm going to start with you, Anna. This whole panel will be about marketing. And with everything, the word for our time now during COVID and shelter in place. So we've all had to pivot everything. So with marketing, that's what a majority of these questions are going to be about. So Anna, what is the most you've ever spent to market a home, a listing?
I think, for most of the listings, I try to do the same marketing for all of them, whether they're sort of in a lower price range or in a higher price range. I think it's important that you treat them all equally. Sometimes the numbers are not the same, right? Like you have a $600,000-$700,000 listing versus a $2.5 million listing. But I think about 2,000 or 3,000. I think our listings are our marketing. I believe in really good photos, really good websites, Now we're doing the Matterport, of course. I think that's about right, 2 to 3. Sometimes it's less, depends. Sometimes you do, you know, the aerial photos, sometimes you do the evening shots, and those things start to add up. But I think it's worth every penny. That's where I spend most of my money. It's on the marketing of the listings.
Okay. How about you, Claudia? What is the most you, and I know you do some pretty extensive,
Yeah.
what's the most you ever spent on?
No, it's such a hard thing to monetize because I do work with my family. So, you know, it's, if you were to have to, you know, hire them to do what I do, it's around 10 grand is would cost to do all the nuanced touches. And, you know, sometimes I just spend, by the time I buy groceries for a house and flowers, you know, you can easily spend a couple $100 just doing that, and you haven't even done anything else. And then you always have to do your twilight shots, and just make sure, like Anna said, that every house, you know, like it's a bigger house, so maybe you're going to do some models, maybe you're not going to do it for a condo, but you have to have that consistency and look of your marketing. That always has to be your brand.
Yeah, love it. How about you, Sarah? What's the most you've ever spent on marketing a home?
I think most I spent probably around 3,000. Like I said, every house is different. Every area is different. Some area I do it over and over again. I have the neighborhood videos, everything, so I can repurpose those videos. So that's easier. If it's new neighborhood, I wanted to recapture the neighborhood, so of course I'll spend a little bit more. So I want to see the most I spend market the home probably around 3,000, and you know, including market the neighborhood, storytelling, video about the listing, and promote the listings through social media promotion, and sometimes Google Ads, searching, etc. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So since shelter in place, what has changed in your marketing? I'll go to you, Claudia, then you, Anna, and then you, Sarah.
I mean, for me, I'm doing, because you can't do a Sunday open house anymore. And that's really where we have, as agents, have a chance to connect with the buyers, and also just having that a little more homespun opportunity to be with people, and not so, you know, a lot of my marketing is, you know, here's the video and it's kind of has to be very curated. So I've started doing a Sunday open, I call it a Sunday open house virtual tour, where I go on camera and I walk through the house, and I kind of try to keep it whimsical and fun, and just have a person in the house, and also explain. You can kind of just get a better feel for the house, because I'm there as I would be on a Sunday open house, kind of chit-chatting about this, that, and the next thing about this particular property. So that's an additional overlay. Always doing Matterport. I think, you know, I was not a huge Matterport fan before shelter in place, but now it's become such an important tool. I use it all the time when I, you know, representing buyers and looking at properties. I can't go on my broker tour anymore. So I dive into the Matterport. If I want to see how, you know, Anna's house layout is in the backyard because we need a ramp, I'm going to go to that Matterport first. And it's really going to tell me what I need to tell. So I think Matterport is a huge thing, and just more video. The last thing that I have started to incorporate is, and we're seeing more of, is the Zoom, is the live, Instagram live, Facebook live, open house events on the weekends. I don't know, that would be a conversation topic maybe when, if other agents have experience with this, if it's really worth the time. I'm not completely sold on them. I've done a fair amount of them, and I don't know if they're that great, but that's another thing. We're just kind of, you know, right now we're experiencing, and we have to try new things. And so that's kind of one of the new things, that sometimes you have to keep trying that new thing until you unlock it. And I think that's one that's an interesting thing, to see if we can unlock that and make it more powerful. So.
Yeah. Yeah. How about you, Anna?
Yeah, so I think I echo with everything Claudia says. I agree with. Always, always. I think in our case, what we did with District, not just for the listings, we changed a little bit. The first thing we did when shelter in place went into effect is we decided to stop all of our actual paper mailers because we felt like people maybe didn't want to touch their mail because it was a time where it was, you know, a time to pause. And I know we're coming out of it, so we're going to revisit that. But all of the mailers we were doing, we stopped doing them. What we also do is we do printed ads in some publications, and we switch to sort of more of a community message, not so much like here we are and we sold this much or we're so great, but more like we're here with you, we're here for you. So it was a change in the messaging, and we kept doing those printed ads also because I believe in supporting those publications. So I felt like that was important to keep, but we stopped our mailers. And in terms of the listings, I think I would say, you know, what Claudia mentioned of the Matterport in the video. And I think it's a great conversation topic to talk about how these virtual videos and open houses are working, because I am getting a little bit of mixed messaging from, you know, some people doing them and some people thinking that maybe they're not as worth it. Or maybe they're just worth it as video content for the future, for your website or for your, to send to your sphere rather than actually promote the house. Because if you get 3 people to join you and 2 of those people are agents, right? I mean, so I think that's interesting to talk about later, maybe.
Yeah, I like that. So Sarah, same for you. What has changed in your marketing since shelter in place?
So in terms of promoting my listings, I 100% agree with Anna and Claudia. I, you know, was not a big fan of a 3D walkthrough before because I feel like could be get rejected online before let the buyer even walk in the house. But now it's really not an option. I add all the 3D walkthrough, 3D Matterport, and virtual tours on all my listings. And for marketing myself, because we have more time at home, I actually pretty much knocked down one project I really want to do a long time ago. Upload my video channel, just redo all my video YouTube channel. I posted all my past listings videos on my YouTube channel and loaded it up with, you know, thumbnail, search engine, and keyword search, etc. And more social media marketing for myself. I'm being very careful with the message I send it out because right now you want a message to think, you know, you send it out, you know, you do care about the people, care about the neighbor, care about the community. And one thing I do marketing differently for buyers, I think, especially at the beginning of the shelter in place, I guess most of us didn't know what to do for a couple of weeks. So what I did is actually I went Amazon, I bought a couple of those virtual reality headset. So if I do have a serious buyer want to see home, I will, you know, if they're local, I will see, I'll drop by your house, I'll drop this off at your front door. You sit on your sofa, I'll go there, do a video tour for you, see if you like, if the listing does not have a 3D walkthrough. So to do that, I was able to, you know, the buyers really appreciate it because they feel like I put their safety in a priority and make sure they have comfortably, you know, view the home before, you know, risk the you know, the coronavirus, etc. So that's marketing in whole picture, my listing, myself, and my buyer part, how I changed. And also one more thing, it's amazing. Before I hate it. Now I'm like, this is just what you have to do. It's virtual staging. That has changed so much. I had 2 homes. My seller said, okay, let's just wait until we can stage it. Then we put on the market. I said, no. You want to get on the market ASAP because, you know, you wait a little bit longer, there's more listing coming on the market, you're facing a challenge. So we actually did virtual staging, and both properties get sold in literally in 1 week, multiple offers. So I think that's, you know, virtual staging, when you don't have option, virtual staging is worth it. I mean, in normal days, it's probably not a good idea, but right now you just have to do what it takes to get the job done.
Nice. So Claudia, I'll start with you on this one. Are you tracking your marketing? And if so, what marketing gets you the best response from buyers, from sellers? What is working for you to get these leads?
Yeah, I think I just kind of the consistency of the brand, the video and the look of the property. That's the thing. I don't do like Anna and probably Sarah do kind of a concerted, it's just me. So I just have my personal pipeline to fill. So just keeping the look of the listings. I also have an ad on a Google ad video about my business, and that gets a lot of views. But as you know, with return on investment, it's always a tricky thing to really absolutely pinpoint what was the thing, that one kicker thing that made them come to you, as far as seller leads. I mean, that's the one that I'm basically tracking. So I think it's accumulation and making sure that you always have that consistency in brand and so that's why it's important that, as we were talking about earlier, even if it's a small condo, it needs to look perfection, because it's not so much just selling that one thing. That's the thing that's reaching all of your potential sellers moving forward. And they're like, oh, that's Claudia's house. Of course it is. It always looks that way, even if it only is a $500,000 condo. I don't know if I answered your question, but that's all I got.
It's great. Sarah, how about you? Are you tracking your marketing? And if so, what's getting you the most leads? Buyers, sellers?
Did you ask me or Sarah?
Sarah, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was waiting for him.
Sarah.
So I have to agree with Claudia. It's really hard to track marketing per listing. I think it's a combination of KW. We probably has different ways because our listing submitted through what's that called, KWLS or KWSL. I can't remember how to spell it. But we use Listing Hub, so I'm able to see with each listing which website got most views and which page they view. So that way I can see which website I should focus on to do more marketing. So what marketing get me the best response? I think it's a mixed everything. Most sellers that repeat customers different, but I'm talking about online leads. Most sellers find me through my website, I think the most. And for the buyers, if I haven't met before for online leads, most of them find me through my listing website, and some are Zillow and some are Google search. I do, like Claudia, I do have a small amount budget for Google ad. So sometimes I get called from those as well. I don't know if that's answer your question. Let me read what marketing get the best response from. That's a hard question. I don't know. It's mixed everything I want to see.
How about you, Anna?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's hard to track. I mean, especially with printed, and it's more about brand awareness. I mean, as a newer company, we do a lot of the things we do. We don't know if they're generating leads, but we put them out there so people recognize the brand. And I think at the end of the day, I totally agree with Claudia and Sarah, but I think your listing is your best marketing, right? Like when people see a listing and it's like, oh, that's a Claudia Mills listing because it looks like it. Or when they see a listing that I did and they say, oh, that looks like one of your listings because we pay attention to the details and we do it in a certain way. And I think it's a combination of doing everything really. Some printed, some some printed ads, mailers, Google, Zillow, whatever it is that works for people. But it's hard to put a number or some things we can check, right? But only a few. So I agree with them.
Can I share with you guys an old school technique?
Yes.
In my day, I'm 1,000 years old. Back in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, I marketed everywhere. So what I did is I just broke it down where everything was, where I was either on Zillow or it was a print ad or my signs. And I had made a list with check boxes. And every time I got a call, I'd say, by the way, how'd you find me? By the way, how'd you hear about me? Well, I just saw the sign on your listing.
Yeah.
I did that for years, and I was able to track and eliminate a lot of stuff that was getting me nothing. And some things didn't get me anything, and I kept it anyways, because brand awareness, like you said, Anna, that is brilliant. So yeah, that's just an old school technique. You could probably do a checklist on your phone. All right, so the next question is, what are you doing for tours and open houses right now, since we can't have a public open house, but you want to be able to get people in who are serious, or you want to virtual it, whatever. What are you doing to get people touring it, agents touring it? What vendors, what vehicle are you using? And I'll start with you, Sara.
Sure. So I think since shelter in place, if I remember right, it's March 17th. It has been an interesting time. I feel like for my business, first 2 weeks, we don't really know what to do, because the information was released from our legal department and from also Bridge. It's kind of every day is different. We're waiting for what we're able and unable to do. And in terms of our open house, virtual open house, I have to be honest, I'm not somebody very comfortable with live show or live Facebook. I just cannot do it. I don't like that. I feel like, you know, you are hosting, you make sure you're the best you can, you're hosting open house, you monitor the questions, you know, put my seller, maybe at some level of risk of liability if I said something wrong, because I was monitoring different angles. So what I did for my virtual open house is I recorded, and I actually put on, I pay a little bit monthly fee for Zoom, so I can upload the recorded. And also I actually did 2 open house same time. Because I was able to do that, I feel like when the buyer comes to the open house, they probably want to see 5 homes, just like regular open house. You know, you're in the car, you load in the whole street, they're gonna see 5 open houses on the same neighborhood. So that's what I did, basically the same neighborhood. This is the open house, and I'm the one at home monitoring the open house and showing a pre-recorded, but I also have somebody, my husband, my assistant, at the listing. So if somebody say, hey, I want to see this house, can you open the closet for me? I want to see how big the closet is. So somebody can be there, hold the phone to show it, to answer the questions. I find that's more relaxed for me, just personally, because I feel I can calmly answer questions. And I just can't do live.
How about you, Anna?
Sara, I haven't done a live event. I also was gone for a little bit, and the 2 listings I had were earlier enough that we were still not doing that. And they're both closing now. One closed yesterday. So I need to get on that wagon of starting to do it. I have my doubts that it actually works to promote the listing, but I think it's important that we start doing more video content, that we feel more comfortable. I bought the gimbal, I bought the Matterport, I have everything. I just haven't started in earnest to, you know, exploring it. I think, Claudia, you've done more of this, so you can speak to this better. But I also feel like at some point, as showings become easier and easier, and we're still doing it very carefully, but there is nothing like seeing the house in person. And some videos are great, but some videos are 20 minutes long. And I'm like, I don't have 20 minutes to watch this video. If I have 20 minutes, I'm gonna call my agent and go to the house and see the house, right? So on the one hand, I think video is very important, and it's gonna become even more so. On the other hand, I don't know, unless you have a huge Instagram following or a huge Facebook following and you've already set up some of those things. For some agents that don't have that, I wonder what the real, you know, value is in doing some of those live events. But I'm gonna do it. It's just, I haven't done it yet. I wanna hear from Claudia, actually, how
Yeah.
successfully she did them, because you've been doing them quite a bit.
I've done a few, yeah, on my 2 listings early on. The first one, I think, again, my experience was I'm still marketing to agents, because my agents are following, I'm connected with on Instagram. And so when it pops up live on Instagram, that's who's showing up. Although the house that I have in contract right now, those buyers did show up at my Sunday open house Instagram live event and asked some questions. So I think it's just another tool that maybe just kind of churns a little interest. And right now we have so few ways of actually connecting with people that at least it's a live connection. Like, it's all not just pre-recorded and they're there at the house. It's something that's real. It's not just a picture or a movie. And I think maybe that's important right now. I know for me, when it's live on Instagram and I'm like, I always want to pop in for a second, see what's going on. Ooh, what are they doing? You know? So I mean, anything that can make people think about the house a little bit more and consider it in all of the fray is a positive.
Love it. Great. Good perspectives from all of you. So do you use an outside vendor to help you? You guys kind of hit on that. Are you using Facebook Live, Instagram? I think you did hit on that, but are you and Sara talked about using YouTube and Zoom video. Are there any other vendors, outside vendors that you're using that are helping you with your marketing?
I mean, for me, it's just using Instagram, the tools that I already have, and using their live features. I've seen some live options that other people have used. I can't remember the names of them off the top of my head, but I know there's some other things that people are kind of connecting with, but I've only used those 2. And I'd be interested to know with Sara's Zoom, so are you inviting people to the Zoom?
Yeah, so I invite them to the Zoom, so I capture the lead. Then I also have a Facebook survey at the end, Dropbox. If you Google Facebook survey, you'll find out, and then people can give feedbacks on the Facebook survey. And I will have a chance to win like the local beer, $20 gift card once you fill out the survey, things like that. So the response, it's, yeah, I don't have enough data to see what kind of, it's just another tool to add more.
Well, if you get one sales lead, then isn't it worth it,
Right.
Is that what they say?
Yeah. How about you? What are you using? Outside vendor, any kind of social media? What are you doing that's helping you?
I'm using the same things. Were you asking me? I couldn't hear if you were. Yes, you were, right? Yeah, I think I'm using the same things. We have somebody in-house doing our social media. We have a District Homes channel that we all use. I like the idea of the YouTube. I think that's smart if you start having more video content. We don't have that yet. We rely on our website mostly, but those are good ideas.
Yeah, it's great.
So I don't, for the Facebook social media, I have a virtual assistant. And for KW Facebook page, we have a lot of training on how to promote through social media. And so she's my backbone. She's just learning all that. And she has pretty good calendar set. She will post like client review on Tuesday on my Facebook and promote coming soon on Wednesday, post house maintenance, tips on Saturday. So we have a kind of a social media calendar there with my virtual assistant systematically.
It says on here, Bridge MLS also has a Monday, Thursday tours. We have a virtual tour. Yeah, there's the virtual tour.
Yes. Thank you, Judy. Yes, we have done that. And that is extremely helpful because there's like over 100 people that join. It's more people that would normally see your listing, right? Sometimes you have 50 people on Broker Store and there are 100 of them. you know, it started and it was a little like people took too long to present, but I think it works really well. And it's nice to see everybody's faces. So that's kind of fun. Yes, that's a great thing. Thanks, Judy.
Yeah, thank you. So you may have already done this, and I might be circling back on some of these questions, but give me an example of your most creative marketing that you've done. Something really outside the box, fun. I hired a band, blah, 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 whatever. Sarah, I'll start with you.
Okay. So marketing, this is not typical. This is not for marketing for my listing. This is the marketing in general. What I did this year is I done 2 videos that was really my comfort zone. I did because I really want to challenge myself to be more comfortable in front of the cameras. So one of the video I talk about is my farm area, Marina Bay Richmond neighborhood. I combine a neighborhood water and also my waterfront property, and also the ferry coming, the new ferry at the point. And that one was very successful. I think we got 15,000 views through a Facebook ad. And another one has nothing to do with well, another one I did is during the Chinese Lunar New Year. I did how to make homemade dumpling video with my t-shirt or my logo, my business out on the back, etc. So that t-shirt made a video how to make dumplings from scratch. And that I got a really good reviews and views on that one. And up to today, I still get text or email. People say, hey, I'm watching your video. I'm in shelter in place. I want to make dumplings. So is this really red cabbage, or is this, do I really have to use Napa cabbage or things like that? You know, oh, I just shared your video with my friend. She wants now to make dumplings. So I feel really fortunate to be able still that video repurposed over and over again because of shelter in place. That's outside pretty creative marketing on my end.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't have to be real estate, does it? Anna, tell me what's the most creative marketing you?
I was just thinking, so last year I probably heard from maybe 10 agents, if not more, that were going to Barcelona when we were still allowed to travel. And everybody asks always, where can I go? What are your suggestions? What are good tips, and etc. So I have actually an email that I sent to people because I've been asked so many times. And when I was in Barcelona last year for Christmas, I had my brother do a video. And I don't like video, but he's good. And the video turned out really beautifully, I think. So it's me walking around my neighborhood, which happens to be nice. And so I did this video of Barcelona and me saying, here you go. This is where I grew up. It's very pretty. Call me if you want anything. So it's not really real estate. I think it's more about, again, brand awareness in a way. Right? It's who you are and what you're bringing to the table as an agent. It's like, look, I grew up here. The architecture is beautiful. That's what I like. And here's the video. So I thought that's not very real estate, but I think probably that's the most creative thing I've done. I don't know. I'm curious to hear Claudia because she always does really cool things.
Claudia, how about you?
You know, I have come close to pull the trigger on some, you know, I was a singer. That was what I was, a music major in college. So, you know, there is that always that moment, and then it's like, oh, that's a little too much. We need to back away. So I haven't pulled the trigger on the song and dance version of the yearly. What happened in, maybe we'll do it in 2020 since it was a pandemic. Maybe we'll do it in song. It's something that maybe we'll hash out, but I haven't. There's always been that, there's that moment where it's just a little too much, and that's what's held me back. So
well, I hope I encourage you to do it. We would love to see it. I think this is the perfect time to really think outside the box, guys. Hey, there's a quick question for you, Sarah. What is the virtual company you're using, virtual assistant company that you're using?
So right now I have a cyber back from one of the KW agent. He's actually the owner of the company. And yeah, that's what I'm using right now.
Oh, is that Ben Kinney?
No, Cyberback. Is that called Cyberback? Yeah.
Okay. All right, got it.
I'll type in here.
Okay. All right. So where do you spend most of your marketing money? Where would you say the biggest part of your budget goes? Claudia, we'll start with you.
It's video. I mean, I'm supporting the family, so you know, video. We're all about video. Our family. That's it, right there. Matterport video, making the website, virtual, all of that content. That's where the money goes.
Claudia, they probably don't know that about your family's background. You want to share a little bit?
Okay, yeah. So my husband is my videographer. He was a musician also, and had a recording studio for years and worked with a bunch of heavyweights. I have a sideline story about, you know, how, you know, some well-known local artists were pivotal in our relationship, but that's for a different time. And then my son also has just graduated and has a cinematography degree. So he's at home right now, and I am using him as much as I possibly can while I have him, because I know he will not stay forever, but it's great to have both of them, especially when we were just really tight and in a bubble. I had my video team, also my Matterport team, and all of that just at home with me. So I could do a lot of these things that everybody else was like, well, I can't because it's not safe. So it's always been safe for me because we kibitz at home and we do it all together. So I live with my team. Yeah.
Oh, you're very fortunate. Your videos are gorgeous.
Thank you.
Where do you spend most of your money on marketing? What area?
So
You're asking me?
Yes.
Sorry.
Sarah.
Sarah, okay. So I don't really track each cost. I think the way I do it is I have a set budget quarterly based on my last year GCI. Then I'll divide the demand by the quarterly. So sometime by the quarter, I might do every month of the quarter, depending on how many listings I have, or I might just do twice this month or this quarter, and to have a bigger spend. So I don't really have the, you know, what do you spend most on the divided by flyer or newspaper or video. I think it's combination. I have learned a lot last year is to focus on, I'm reading a book called Profit First. So I just want to make sure, you know, as much you make, you can spend all the money on the marketing. You know, I'm here to support my family, so I want to make sure I have a set budget. I don't go over the budget. Listing is pretty standard, all the things we know what we're doing in video, blah, blah, blah. But ongoing, if I do have a listing hard to sell, take some longer, like you don't get every listing pending 10 days. So that's, we'll spend more because, you know, ongoing Facebook promotion, ongoing marketing will be more spended. So I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, it does. Thank you. Like I used to say, it doesn't matter if you make $1 million if you spend $1.1 million to do it. How about you, Anna?
So I think we do pretty much the same. I don't have the videographer here. My brother does that, but he's in Barcelona, so that's harder. But I think one thing to keep in mind, and Claudia, you were mentioning this earlier, is when you do marketing, the most important thing about your marketing is, you know, how does the house look and how you present it in a certain way. So I find myself sometimes spending more money on things that are not marketing, but are just going to look the house better, right? Like I'll buy a light fixture because my clients don't have a budget and I think it makes a huge difference, or I'll buy plants, or I'll bring my own pots from my house with succulents, or so we end up spending a lot on preparing the listing. And I know we're, you know, and I think that's what I think of part of the marketing, because and I don't, honestly, I don't have a budget. I think what Sarah was saying, some listings need a little bit more attention than others, and you just do what you have to do for each. Sometimes you end up spending more on the ones that sell for less, and that's fine.
Yeah. All right. And then, so how are you hit on this a little, Sarah, how are you guys capturing these leads when you do these virtual Facebooks, YouTube, Zoom, anything? How do you capture these leads when you have a seller interviewing and watching what you're doing, maybe a neighbor or whatever, or buyers? How are you capturing these leads? And Anna, go ahead. How are you capturing the leads?
I think most of our leads come from our websites and, you know, like a normal website, either our own website, district website, or the property websites. I think a lot of the people that reach out to us is because we have a presence in certain areas and then they see the listings. So more than leads is more like, you know, you were saying, how did you find me? I would say 80% of the times I ask them and they say, I don't know, I just found you online. So what does that mean? Well, it means you had a listing at the corner, or you do have Google ads, or you have, you know, Yelp reviews, and it's just a combination. It's hard to figure out where the lead is coming from. I would say in terms of leads, yes, through websites, but in general, we get more of just being present in certain areas, which I don't know if it's Sarah's experience since you have such a strong presence where you are. That's mostly what we see.
Yeah. How about you, Sarah? How are you capturing leads? And you did hit on it a little, but tell us a little bit. You really
So most of my leads come from farming, open house, Google Ads, and social media, and some from Zillow. And last couple of weeks is different. And for some of my listing, I still have a big sign say open house. People will open Sunday. People will call me, are you really have an open Sunday? I said, no. But that's just to get some leads, you know. I want to see the house. I said, okay, this is a, you know, procedure for you to see the house. So that in the last couple of weeks, that had helped a little bit. But I want to see, yeah, mainly from my website, from open house in the past, farming and Google Ads and some social media.
Hey, how about you, Claudia? How are you capturing the leads?
Yeah, I think it's similar to the other two. You know, just having that open house has always been the way, and also having always maintaining the brand. I'm going to say it again, making sure that your house always shows very well, because I find that the sellers are going to go on Zillow and Redfin, and they're going to look at whose house, when they're going to sell theirs, they're going to go back through the neighborhood and see what, and they're going to start to research, and they're going to start diving into, they're going to like, oh, that one is kind of like mine. Let me see what else she's done. And if you're consistent with your brand, and hopefully your cost per square foot is always done well, that's when they're going to pick up the phone and give you a call. Right now during SIP, I'm finding that that there are a fair number of buyers who just don't have agents. So that has been, you know, doing that, and I'm getting better at kind of navigating the buyer who doesn't know anything. It's kind of like an open house where these buyers don't know anything, and they can't just go to an open house and kind of chat up an agent. So talking with people and educating them, and maybe they're not seeing this particular house, but just being really available when you have a listing to talk to buyers on the phone, because they haven't connected with that agent yet. And I think that's something that I've been seeing.
Hey, great. Okay, we're kind of rounded around the bend here. If you guys have any questions for these powerhouse agents, please put it in the chat box. But and if the questions show up, I'll ask them, but I'm gonna round it out with, I'm gonna ask you guys, if there were one thing you could say to this community of agents that you could offer, advice, whatever, that you would give to them, that they should be focusing on, or that their energy should be spent on, what would that be? What would you say to this amazing group of people that, you know, like I said, the reason why we're doing these Gustavo has been so generous to open these masterminds up to everyone, is to give, right? We're here to support each other as much as we can and give back as much as we can. So what would you offer? I will start with you, Anna.
I think this is a time to connect to your sphere and to connect to the people that you've known through the years. So one of the things we talked to when we had our first meeting, when shelter in place went into effect, was this is a time where we have to reconnect with the people we know. We work mostly by, most of our business comes from direct referrals from previous clients or from Sphere. We've all been doing this for a long time. So I think that's my number one thing at the moment, was let's reconnect with everyone. Let's make ourselves available to our buyers and sellers, our friends, and everybody that needs that extra, maybe I wouldn't say support, but extra information. Just make ourselves available to them. And I would say, and I'm telling this myself because I haven't done it yet, is I think we all need to embrace video. And we're all shy, and well, not everyone. I find that the younger agents are really great at this. I've been seeing some of them. I'm like, wow, you guys are doing a great job. I find like my generation is a little bit more camera shy, and I think we need to be a better job in embracing that. Whether we need it for now or, I suspect we'll have some sort of open houses in a couple of months, which may be socially distanced open houses, but it's still, even if that happens, I think the video component, it's just the way to go. And I'm telling myself that, by the way. So
I'm gonna watch it.
I hope I follow my own advice.
How about you, Claudia? What would you say to our community of agents?
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to echo Anna. It's connecting with your sphere is so important. Connecting and picking up the phone with your other colleagues. We are the experts. We know each other. We're the ones, making deals, making things happen. And we just have to rely on each other, and don't just text, don't just email, actually take a minute and call both other colleague agents and stay connected. And I know your past clients would love to just get a nice phone call from you, just to kind of check in and say, everybody wants to know what's going on in real estate. It's always been such a big driver of wealth and prosperity in America, and it's very nerve-wracking when now our stock markets have gone back up again, but when they tanked so hard, it was very scary. And so whatever information we can pass along to guide people and to give them something to know that it's all going to be okay. At the end, I know for sure we're all going to live through this, and it's all going to work itself out. So just providing that to your client base as well, and talking to your other agents.
That's great. Thank you. How about you, Sarah? I'll let you kind of bring it home.
Well, it's such a great question. This is such a difficult time. I think everybody's situation is different, and every household's needs is different. If you have 2 kids, you don't have a kids, I feel like this situation is different for everybody. So you have to make decision what is the best. Maybe it's okay to slow down a little bit to reconnect with family, and you don't really have to be guilty about it if you feel like that's most important thing to you right now. And also, I assume for people on the call, they probably want to expand the business and at least maintain the business. And I'm somebody don't believe you can't have it at all. I just don't believe it. I think, you just don't have to feel guilty about since you miss if you want to get what you want. So you have to know what you want. You want to spend more time with family, more time reconnect with family. Your business might slow down a little bit. That's a blessing. If you, want to expand your business, you might miss some family time. That's your choice. So I just want to say, if you just focus on one thing, and you don't have to feel guilty about something, because the one thing you miss something else.
Thank you, Sarah. Yeah, I heard said, don't let a good pandemic go to waste.
Actually, can I share one experience myself in the last 2 weeks?
Yes,
Is that okay?
please.
So this is my personal experience for last couple of weeks, what have happened to me. I have a coach from KW. We have a call-in every Friday for about half hour. And the last month's call was end of April. He said to me, he said, Sarah, how about we said May 15, which was last Friday. He said, May 15 is your birthday. I got all excited. I thought he's going to give me some nice present. He I'll give me a discount, something. How about we set a goal for you from May 1st to May 15, you get 10 listings. I was so pissed. I said, how dare you challenge me like this? Because it's even possible in the normal days. How do you challenge me with 10 listings in 2 weeks with this pandemic going on? And I was so upset. I went to bed. I was upset the whole day. And then the next day I wake up, I said to myself, I said, you know what? He got nothing to lose. He got nothing to gain if I do it or not. This is just he's a code. This is his role. It's up to me what I want to do. If I do want it, how bad I want it. If I want to focus it, can I do it? If I don't try, I'll never know if I can or cannot. So last 2 weeks, because I set this goal, I feel like my focus was just clear. The discipline, the follow-up, and the dive into my database. I know my database pretty well, but when you dive into it, look at all the past leads, all the old conversations. I set 2 hours a day just to dive into those, discipline and focus. And I end up get 8 listings on my birthday. So and then by 10 a.m., I'm 2 listings short. Then my phone rings. My neighbor called and say, I want to sell my house, come over. So I ran over there, I get 9 listings, I'm 1 short. But I just feel like if you focus on it, if you have a clear vision what you want to do, I missed a lot of family time probably. I'm okay with it. But, if you focus on it, at least you know you tried. You can't do it or cannot do it.
Wow, that's amazing. I will tell you, and then we're going to wrap this up. I had a meeting Wednesday with our Agent Leadership Council. There's about 12 agents that basically run the office, tell me what to do. And instead of us talking about running the office, the whole meeting was talking about reassessing their lives, reassessing what they found most valuable, deciding what they want to do once this shelter in place is lifted, once this pandemic is hopefully immunized. Do they want to keep their life the way it was? Was this a gift? And what gifts did they get from the shelter in place? What gifts is this pandemic giving them that will make their lives better, their relationships better, their well-being physically and emotionally better? And will they hang on to those gifts? And so that's a good question for all of you, is what gifts is the shelter in place giving you? And what do you need to do to hang on to them? So thank you, everyone. This was a powerful, good panel. I loved it, and I appreciate all of you who attended. And next, oh my gosh, next Friday, I have Anthony Riggins. I had asked Andrew Gunderman, Raskoff Gunderman, to come on. And David said, hey, I'll join him too. I went, two big Gundermans. And then a third person who will be disclosed later because the other one I had on just had a baby. So I have to find a third person. And it's all going to be just about mindset. All about, because we're starting to get tired of being sheltered in place. I don't know about you guys, but I'm a little bit like, okay, I'm over it. Well, I enjoyed it in the beginning. I'm done. So let's go in and learn about what we can do to come into our lives and into our business at a 10. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you
so much for having me.
Honor you guys.
Bye. Thank you.
For having us.
Bye.
Thank you, Gustavo.
Thanks, Gustavo.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
Bye.
Have a nice weekend.